Have you ever paused to consider the transformative power of silence? Welcome to the concept of the no-contact rule, a strategic pause that resonates deeply with the wisdom of Stoic philosophy. This rule isn't about cutting ties out of spite. It's about embracing the quiet to empower personal growth and introspection. In today's video, we'll explore how stepping away from daily interactions can lead to powerful self-discovery and create an aura of mystery that naturally draws others toward you. We'll delve into the psychological dynamics at play and how this period of reflection can reset your emotional landscape, making you a beacon for positive and meaningful connections. If you're committed to becoming a high-value individual who commands respect and admiration, this is a journey you'll want to embark on. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe for more insightful content, and ring the notification bell to become part of a community that's turning wisdom into action. Let's dive into why the no-contact rule is a game-changer for everyone involved. Number 1. People are wired to respond to loss. In life, and particularly in relationships, there's a common tendency to take for granted what is already within reach, while being fixated on what seems elusive. We often don't fully appreciate what we have until it's gone, and in our pursuit of new desires, we can easily overlook the value of what's right in front of us. This dynamic applies strongly to relationships. When your partner had constant access to you, they may not have realized how much your presence contributed to their life. They might have focused on what they didn't have, or taken your availability as a given. Stoicism teaches us to recognize this pattern in human behavior. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, reminds us to practice self-restraint and not to let external things dictate our happiness. In relationships, this principle holds true. The no-contact rule is an exercise in self-restraint, choosing to step back instead of reacting impulsively. By pulling away and creating space, you are forcing your partner to sit with the reality of your absence. This absence highlights the value they didn't recognize when they had easy access to you. Imagine a scenario where you were always there for your partner, constantly available, emotionally present, and easy to reach. Over time, your presence may have become so normalized that it lost its value in their eyes. But once you apply the no-contact rule, things shift. The sudden lack of access can create a deep sense of loss and uncertainty for your partner. They may find themselves wondering, why did they pull away? Did I take them for granted? These questions start to create anxiety, jealousy, and longing, especially when they see you thriving without them. The no-contact rule is rooted in the Stoic idea of detachment. By stepping back, you're showing that your happiness and peace of mind are not dependent on their validation or attention. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." When you stop seeking their validation and attention, you communicate that you're content without them. This sudden reversal in dynamics often makes them crave the connection they took for granted. Think about a partner who was indifferent while you were around. When you enforce the no-contact rule, they may start to notice the void your absence creates. They'll replay moments when you were there for them, wondering if they truly appreciated everything you brought into their life. Suddenly, the fact that you're no longer reachable ignites a sense of urgency. They may start checking your social media, wondering what you're doing, and even feeling jealous if they think you're moving on. This sense of loss and the fear of missing out is powerful. The no-contact rule works because it taps into this psychological response, allowing the other person to truly experience life without you. In Stoicism, We're taught not to cling to things outside our control. And when you embrace this, you flip the script. Instead of desperately trying to win them back, you calmly step back, giving them the space to reflect on what they've lost. Your silence becomes your strength, and they begin to realize the value of what they once had but didn't fully appreciate. It's in this quiet, reflective space where true growth and change can happen, both for you and for them. Number 2, you become unpredictable. Imagine if life played out exactly the way you expected every single day. Same routines, same conversations, no surprises. It would quickly lose its excitement. In fact, it's the unpredictability in life that often keeps us engaged. People are drawn to things that keep them guessing, that mix the familiar with the unexpected. This is why, after a breakup, the no-contact rule works so powerfully. By not reaching out, by resisting the urge to text or check in, you introduce unpredictability into your ex's life. They no longer know what to expect from you, and that very unpredictability is what piques their interest and keeps their thoughts returning to you. Incorporating Stoicism into this idea makes it even more compelling. Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control, our own actions, our emotions, our responses, and to let go of everything else. The no-contact rule is a perfect example of this philosophy in action. Instead of reacting emotionally to the breakup, bombarding your ex with messages, or trying to convince them to come back, you maintain control over yourself by stepping back. In doing so, you show that you are not driven by desperation or a need for their validation. This controlled, composed response often triggers curiosity in your ex, because suddenly, they can no longer predict your next move. You've disrupted the pattern they expected. Picture someone you care about suddenly going silent. No calls, no texts, no interaction. At first, it may feel like a relief, but as time passes, their absence starts to become louder. You begin to wonder why they pulled away, whether they're thinking of you, and what changed. This uncertainty plants the seed of curiosity and, eventually, a desire to reconnect. The same psychology applies to your ex when you implement the no-contact rule. By disappearing from their radar, you create space for them to reflect, to miss the familiar, and to be intrigued by your sudden silence. Stoicism also reminds us that attachment can lead to suffering, especially when it is based on things outside of our control. By practicing no contact, you not only regain control over your emotional state, but you also send a message of inner strength and independence. You're no longer at the mercy of your ex's attention. This kind of self-control makes you even more attractive. In a way, you stop being predictable, and that unpredictability makes them question their assumptions about you and the relationship. They will start wondering, why haven't they reached out? What are they doing? Are they moving on? These thoughts often lead them to reach out themselves. By being unpredictable, you show them that you're not playing by the same old rules. Instead, you're creating your own path forward, one that forces them to rethink their assumptions about you. The no-contact rule, when combined with Stoic principles, becomes a powerful tool in reclaiming not just their attention, but your peace of mind. Now that we've covered how becoming unpredictable works to your advantage, it's time to take action. If you're finding value in this message, make sure to hit that like button and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Or, if this resonates with you on a deeper level, simply type "Reclaim my power" in the comments to affirm your commitment to regaining control of your life. And stay tuned, because there's more to come in this journey of self-empowerment. Let's move on to the next powerful insight. Number 3, You create a powerful mystery. Picture the moment someone who was once central to your life suddenly disappears from your daily routine. That absence creates a void, a space full of unanswered questions. This is where the no-contact rule works its magic. It's like the intrigue of an unsolved mystery, one that draws people in and keeps them thinking. Just as science is driven by the pursuit of the unknown, the no-contact rule leverages the power of uncertainty to spark curiosity, making your ex think about you far more than if you were constantly available. When you choose to go no contact, you break the predictable cycle. Your absence raises questions like, where are they? What are they feeling? Why aren't they reaching out? The longer the silence lasts, the deeper the mystery becomes. And the truth is, human nature compels us to seek closure, to understand what we can't easily see or figure out. Your ex will be left with this emotional puzzle, which they won't be able to resist solving. And often, this is what pulls them back to you. From a Stoic standpoint, the no-contact rule is not about manipulation or playing games. It's about practicing control over your emotions and actions. Stoicism teaches us that we should focus on what we can control, our own thoughts, behaviors, and reactions. By stepping back, you are choosing not to be swept up by the emotional turbulence of the situation. Instead, you are exercising patience and emotional resilience, which are key Stoic virtues. You are showing that your sense of self-worth is not tied to whether someone chooses to come back or not. Think of how a person reacts when you suddenly stop texting them as frequently. At first, they might shrug it off, but as time passes, they start to wonder, why the silence? Are they moving on? Have they forgotten me? The more they think about it, the more you occupy space in their mind. By removing yourself from the equation, you're giving them the opportunity to miss you and reflect on the value you brought to their life. The Stoics believed in being indifferent to what we can't control, like someone else's feelings or choices. By not reaching out, you release yourself from the need for their approval or validation. You're showing that you are grounded, composed, and independent, qualities that not only create attraction, but also command respect. This self-restraint, rooted in Stoicism, enhances the air of mystery. You're not chasing, you're not begging. You are simply focusing on your own path, and that is incredibly attractive. In this way, the no-contact rule is not just a tactic. It's a reflection of inner strength and self-control. While your ex is caught up in the mystery of your absence, you are strengthening your own foundation. And this, ultimately, makes them realize that they want to be part of your life again. Not because of manipulation, but because they've come to appreciate what they lost. Number 4. No contact increases value. Imagine for a moment that someone you admire suddenly becomes unavailable. What happens? That person's value in your eyes skyrockets. This is because, in life, scarcity creates value. It's the same principle you can apply to yourself with the no-contact rule. When you step away, you allow others the space to realize your worth. In Stoicism, we learn that value comes not from chasing or clinging to things, but from understanding that what we offer must be recognized by others. By disappearing, you aren't playing games. You're demonstrating self-respect and patience, both essential Stoic virtues. When you're no longer around, the absence speaks volumes. Suddenly, they feel the void. They miss the conversations, the attention, and the energy you used to give them. This absence forces them to reflect and appreciate what you brought into their life. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, taught that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. By pulling back and not needing constant validation or attention, you reflect true emotional wealth, allowing others to come to terms with your real value. Think about how we value rare items like diamonds or limited edition collectibles. It's their scarcity that makes them so desirable. The same logic applies to relationships. When you make yourself too available, the value others place on your presence diminishes. But when you step back and enforce boundaries, you remind them that you are not something they can take for granted. The Stoics also teach us to master the art of patience. Epictetus advised that we focus on controlling our own actions rather than obsessing over the reactions of others. By implementing no contact, you're not only creating scarcity, but you're also cultivating patience and emotional discipline. You're allowing time for them to feel the emptiness your absence creates. You're not sitting around waiting for them to reach out, because you're centered in your own sense of peace. You understand that value isn't something you demand. It's something you naturally command when you have a sense of self-worth. The no-contact rule works because it shifts the power dynamic. Instead of chasing after someone, you give them the space to come to terms with your true value. You stop being the person always seeking validation and start becoming the person who is respected and sought after. By walking away and allowing silence to speak for you, you communicate that you are worth missing. It's not about playing games. It's about respecting yourself enough to let them come to the realization that you were never something to be taken for granted. In the end, Stoicism teaches that our true power lies in how we manage ourselves, not how we manage others. The no-contact rule is a perfect example of this wisdom in practice. You are not disappearing to manipulate or punish. Instead, you're using this time to focus on your own growth, your own peace, and letting your absence serve as a reminder of your value. And when you combine this inner strength with the art of patience, you'll find that people often return, but this time they do so with a deeper sense of appreciation for who you are. Now that we've explored how the no-contact rule aligns with Stoic values of patience, self-respect, and emotional discipline, I'd love to hear your thoughts. How has absence played a role in your relationships or personal growth? Drop a comment below and share your experience. Or, if you resonate with this message, simply type "Absence speaks volumes" to let us know you're on board with the power of silence. Let's move on to the next key principle. Number 5. You create fear of missing out. Consider this. Someone suddenly pulls away, creating an air of mystery and uncertainty. You can't help but wonder what they're doing, why they stepped back, and whether they're enjoying life without you. This is the essence of the no-contact rule. It's not just about silence. It's about creating a powerful psychological response known as the fear of missing out, or FOMO. When you go no contact, you're essentially embodying one of the key teachings of Stoicism: self-control. By choosing to step back, you're showing that you're not ruled by impulsive reactions, that you're capable of restraint. And in that space, the other person starts to wonder. They begin to feel like they're missing out on something because they no longer have access to your energy, your presence, or your life. Think about a time when someone suddenly stopped responding to you. Didn't you find yourself thinking about them more often, even if you hadn't before? That's because mystery sparks curiosity, and curiosity triggers desire. In Stoic terms, it's about controlling what you can, your actions, while letting go of what you can't, how others will respond. Going no contact works because it taps into a basic human fear, the fear of being left behind or excluded from something better. The more someone feels like they don't know what's going on with you, the more they start to fill in the blanks with their imagination. And most of the time, they imagine the worst, that you've moved on, that you're thriving, and that they've lost something valuable. It's a subtle yet powerful way to shift the dynamics in your favor without saying a single word. Stoicism teaches that you should not chase what's out of your control, and by embracing the no-contact rule, you allow the other person to chase you. You become the one who is centered and calm, while they become the one who feels the pull of uncertainty. It's this shift that makes them reach out, not because they have to, but because they want to. In the end, the no-contact rule works not only because it creates FOMO, but because it also forces both parties to reflect. And in that reflection, the one who practices self-discipline and patience often comes out stronger. Number 6, no contact increases respect. Have you ever noticed how the strongest people often say the least? There's a power in silence that many overlook. The no-contact rule taps into this power, and that's why it works so effectively. It's not about mind games, it's about earning respect through restraint and self-control. This approach is deeply rooted in Stoic principles, where the greatest strength comes from mastering your own emotions. In Stoicism, self-mastery is one of the highest virtues. The ability to stay calm, collected, and centered in the face of emotional storms is what separates the strong from the weak. When you go no contact with someone, especially an ex who knows you still have feelings for them, you're doing more than just cutting off communication. You're proving that you can control yourself, even when your emotions are pulling you in the opposite direction. That kind of strength is hard to ignore. Take this as an example. Your ex probably expects you to chase them, to reach out, or even beg for attention. But instead of doing what's expected, you maintain your composure. You focus on your life, your growth, and your peace of mind. And as time passes, they begin to notice your absence. At first, they may think you don't care, but eventually, they start to see it differently. They realize that even though you still have feelings, you're strong enough to pull back and prioritize your own well-being. That's where respect begins to grow. The no-contact rule forces the other person to reflect on their actions and the relationship as a whole. When you're not there to reassure them or react emotionally, they start to appreciate your strength. This mirrors the Stoic idea that people respect those who are in control of themselves. Respect doesn't come from reacting emotionally or constantly being available. It comes from showing that you value yourself enough to step away when necessary. Respect is the foundation of love. Without it, love becomes shallow, fragile, and fleeting. The no-contact rule is a way of rebuilding that foundation. By not reaching out, even when you want to, you're showing that you don't need constant validation from them. You're telling them without words that your self-worth isn't dependent on their attention. Think about this. When someone withdraws, it creates a space for the other person to reflect. In that silence, your ex will begin to respect your strength, your ability to walk away, and your self-control. This respect may even reignite feelings, but more importantly, it transforms how they see you. In the end, no contact works because it's not just about the absence of communication. It's about demonstrating inner strength. You're showing that you can maintain your self-respect even when things are tough, and that is the foundation of any lasting relationship. The Stoics knew that true power lies in mastering oneself, and by practicing no contact, you're doing just that. You're building respect, both from your ex and from yourself, and that is where real change begins. Before we dive into the next point, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the power of no contact and its ability to build respect? leave a comment below sharing your perspective. Or if this message resonates with you, simply type "maintain my self-respect" to solidify your commitment to staying strong and centered. Now, let's move on to the next important insight. Number 7. Curiosity peaks. Imagine you're watching an intense movie, and just before the climax, the screen goes black. You're left hanging, mind racing with possible outcomes. That frustration, that itch to know what happens next, lingers because your brain craves closure. This is exactly the effect you create when you apply the no contact rule. The sudden silence leaves an open loop in the other person's mind, and our brains are wired to despise unfinished business. We naturally seek completion, and when that's missing, curiosity spikes. Stoicism is about mastering your reactions and emotions, not letting external circumstances control you. By choosing no contact, you're not playing games or trying to manipulate the other person's feelings. Instead, you're practicing the art of emotional self-discipline. You're making a conscious decision to protect your peace and focus on yourself. When you embrace this detachment, it has a powerful impact on the other person, often far more than words or actions would. By withholding your attention, you create a space that demands to be filled, and the other person can't help but notice the absence. Let's take a scenario. Suppose a man, after dealing with constant conflict in a relationship, decides to cut off communication with the woman he's been involved with. Initially, she might not care, perhaps even enjoying the newfound freedom. But as the days or weeks go by and his silence remains, doubt and curiosity begin to creep in. Why isn't he reaching out? Has he moved on? Did I mean so little to him? These questions nag at her mind, and her brain scrambles to find answers to complete the unresolved narrative. The Stoics believed in the power of silence and restraint. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This aligns perfectly with the no contact rule. You're not trying to force anyone to respond in a certain way. Instead, you're focusing on what you can control: your actions, your emotional state, your energy. By withdrawing and letting go of the need to chase or fix things, you're creating a powerful dynamic. The other person is left with that gnawing sense of unfinished business. Over time, the no contact rule compels the other person to confront their own feelings. They begin to realize the value of your presence because, in your absence, their mind is consumed with the need to know where things stand. It's human nature to fill the void, and the longer you stay silent, the stronger their curiosity grows. So, the no contact rule isn't just about waiting for someone to reach out. It's about reclaiming your emotional independence and using Stoic principles to remain steady in the face of uncertainty. Your detachment creates an environment where the other person becomes more intrigued by what they can't have. And in many cases, curiosity wins. They come back, not because you forced them, but because your silence spoke louder than words ever could. Number 8. It makes you stronger. Imagine this. You're fresh out of a breakup, and every moment feels like a battle against your own emotions. The urge to reach out, to call, to text, to check their social media, it's overwhelming. But here's where the true power of the no contact rule lies. It's not just about cutting someone off. It's about reclaiming your strength. And this principle runs deep within Stoicism. The Stoics teach us that while we can't control external events, we always have control over how we respond. The no contact rule embodies this wisdom. By choosing not to contact your ex, you're teaching yourself one of the most valuable life skills: self-discipline. You're telling your mind, I am in control, not my emotions. And this is exactly what Stoics like Epictetus spoke of when he said, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. In the chaos of a breakup, practicing the no-contact rule shows that you're choosing strength over impulsiveness. Think of it this way. Every time you resist the urge to reach out, you are reinforcing your ability to endure hardship. This isn't just a short-term fix for a breakup. It's a long-term strategy for building resilience in all aspects of life. By refusing to give in to your impulses, you are proving to yourself that you are capable of handling discomfort, pain, and uncertainty, something that will benefit you in relationships, work, and personal growth. To give you a real-world example, think of someone who's struggled with an unhealthy relationship. They finally decide to go no contact, and while it's excruciating at first, over time, they notice a shift. They stop obsessing over what their ex is doing and start focusing on their own well-being. They develop new habits, engage in activities they've always wanted to pursue, and ultimately realize that their happiness was never dependent on another person. That's the kind of growth the no-contact rule fosters. It doesn't just make your ex miss you, it makes you rediscover your own strength. In the end, this isn't just a tactic to win someone back. It's about mastering your own mind, just as the Stoics would advise. You become stronger, not because someone else's opinion of you changes, but because you have learned to rise above your emotions. The no-contact rule works because it teaches you to prioritize your peace of mind, your self-worth, and your emotional independence. And once you learn to hold that power, you'll find that you can face any challenge life throws your way. Now that we've unpacked the deeper value of the no-contact rule through the lens of Stoicism, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you've applied self-discipline in your own life. Drop a comment below sharing your experiences, or if this message really hit home for you, just type, I am in control, not my emotions. It's a powerful affirmation, and by doing so, you're reinforcing the mindset that your inner strength comes from within, not from outside circumstances. Ready for more insights? Let's move on to the next key point. Number 9, you gain a better perspective. Think about this. When you're in the middle of a storm, it's hard to see beyond the chaos. Emotions, especially in relationships, often act like that storm, clouding your judgment and keeping you from truly seeing the situation for what it is. This is where the no-contact rule becomes a powerful tool. By stepping back and cutting communication, you're allowing yourself the space to calm those emotions and view the relationship through a clearer lens. From a Stoic point of view, this practice aligns perfectly with the idea of detachment. Stoicism teaches us the importance of observing events with a rational mind, free from the overwhelming pull of emotions. In a relationship, when feelings are intense, it becomes nearly impossible to judge whether that person is genuinely right for you or if you've been overlooking important red flags. The distance created by no contact offers the same kind of mental space the Stoics sought: space to reflect, to observe, and to understand. For example, when you're constantly in contact with someone, small misunderstandings can seem monumental, and their positive qualities might be exaggerated in your mind. But once you take a break and adopt the no-contact rule, you can reflect on the relationship more objectively. You'll start to see where things went wrong and, more importantly, if the relationship is worth mending. This approach gives you the mental clarity needed to decide whether reconciliation is even a good idea, or if walking away is the better option. Ultimately, the no-contact rule works because it forces you to distance yourself from the emotional whirlwind, allowing reason to lead. It gives you the opportunity to assess the relationship from a distance, just like a Stoic philosopher stepping back from daily turmoil to focus on what truly matters. The time apart offers insight into how things might be fixed if you get back together, or it may reveal that moving on is the wisest choice. Number 10. It gives you the power of clarity. The no contact rule isn't just a tactic to make someone miss you, it's an opportunity to detox your mind and emotions. Think of it as a way to cleanse yourself from the emotional clutter that built up during the relationship. Relationships are often filled with highs and lows, and over time, these can leave us feeling drained and overwhelmed. By stepping away and embracing silence, you allow your emotions to settle. This isn't avoidance, it's creating space for inner peace and self-reflection. In Stoicism, one of the key principles is control. Specifically, controlling what you can and letting go of what you cannot. The no contact rule embodies this. You can't control someone else's actions or emotions, but you can control how you respond. By taking a step back, you give yourself a chance to respond rather than react. It's in this quiet space that clarity arises, allowing you to see things for what they really are, without the haze of anger or sadness clouding your judgment. For example, imagine you've been in a relationship where arguments were frequent. Each time, emotions flared up, and perhaps words were said that couldn't be taken back. In the heat of those moments, your ability to think clearly was compromised. Now, with the no contact rule in place, you distance yourself from the emotional storm. Over time, you start to see the situation differently. You can evaluate the relationship without the noise, understand your own behavior, and even recognize patterns you missed before. When you return to the relationship, or decide not to, you do so with a calm, composed mind, much like the Stoic approach to life. Stoicism teaches us that emotional balance is key, and by practicing no contact, you give yourself the opportunity to find that balance. You're not just avoiding negative emotions, you're processing them and allowing them to pass, so that if you choose to reconnect, it will be from a place of strength, not desperation. Number 11. It makes you forget them easier. When you step away from a situation, especially when emotions are running high, you begin to see things from a clearer perspective. That's exactly what the no contact rule does. It creates space, not just physical, but mental, for you to process what's really happening. This is where Stoicism comes into play. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is that you can't control others, only how you respond to what happens. The no contact rule embodies this perfectly. By not engaging, you're removing yourself from the emotional chaos, allowing your mind to settle and think rationally. Why does this work? Because when you're constantly in contact with someone, especially after a breakup, your emotions are like a storm, chaotic and unpredictable. You cling to the highs and lows, and it's hard to break free. However, by going no contact, you allow those emotional waves to settle, much like a Stoic would advise you to let your feelings run their course without acting on them. Over time, without the constant reminders of that person, your feelings start to shift. You begin to realize that perhaps it's easier to be apart. Maybe they weren't right for you after all. Take the example of someone who just went through a breakup. At first, they might feel intense sadness and the urge to reconnect. But by following the no contact rule, they begin to see how life continues without that person. They regain their sense of self, and slowly, the emotional grip that their ex had on them starts to weaken. As a result, they move on more smoothly and painlessly. The no contact rule also gives you the power to reclaim control over your emotions, which aligns with Stoic wisdom. You no longer react to their actions or words. You become the one in charge of your own peace of mind. This doesn't mean the no contact rule is easy, or that it's a magic fix. In fact, it's tough because it requires discipline, much like Stoicism. You have to stick to it for it to work, and sometimes it might even feel like you're creating a bigger mess by cutting someone off entirely. But in truth, what you're doing is allowing both of you the space to heal and reflect. In the end, the no contact rule works not just because it makes it easier to forget them, but because it forces you to focus on yourself, your growth, your emotions, and your path forward. Whether the relationship is meant to be or not, taking time away helps you see things for what they truly are. And as the Stoics remind us, clarity of mind and emotional control are key to finding peace, even in the most difficult situations. As we conclude today's discussion on the transformative power of the no contact rule, we've delved deep into how silence can serve as a powerful tool for personal growth and introspection. Remember, this practice is not about isolating out of spite, but about creating space for self-discovery and resetting our emotional landscapes to cultivate meaningful connections. The no contact rule, deeply aligned with Stoic principles, teaches us the value of detachment and self-restraint. By stepping back, we not only foster curiosity and respect in others, but also enhance our self-respect and emotional strength. This strategic pause allows us to reclaim our personal power and reminds us that real strength comes from within, not from external validations. If you found today's insights valuable and are curious to explore more about how Stoic wisdom can transform your personal and relational dynamics, don't forget to hit the like button. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever implemented the no contact rule, and what were your experiences? Your interactions enrich our community and help us all grow together. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for more thought-provoking content like this. And if you're interested in further exploring the principles of Stoicism or similar topics, check out the recommended videos on the screen right now. Dive deeper, continue your journey of self-improvement, and turn wisdom into action. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is embrace the art of silence.